Welcome back to our channel. GBE here with a brand new movie review. The summer season is in full swing and the MCU drops another installment with Ant-Man and the Wasp. This review is spoiler free, so if you haven't seen the film, feel free to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Ant-Man and the Wasp takes place after the events of Civil War. If you remember, Scott was apprehended with some of the Avengers and they were taken to prison for breaking the Sokovia Accords. Scott has a daughter and he wants to remain close to her, so he cuts a deal that allows him to remain in house arrest for some time, and that's where we find Scott when the movie opens. On the other side, we got Hank and Hope, who are on the run because they're not going to submit to the Sokovia Accords, and they're being held accountable for Scott's actions because it was Hank's technology. Meanwhile, they have been working on technology that would allow them to travel into the quantum realm and for them to attempt to rescue Janet, who has been lost for some 30 odd years or something like that. I really like where this movie goes because although it's a bit lighter than the other two MCU installments we got, it does deal with the fact of family and sticking out for family and not giving up on family and having to make difficult choices that may affect your family life, but still trying to do the right thing as well. Clearly, my number one standout has to be Michael Peña reprising his role as Luis. He gets a little bit more to do in this one. He and the other guys from the first movie are starting up a security company, and him trying to navigate the role of being the boss and being in charge of all that is really, really funny, and I really like what they gave him in this movie. I wish we could have seen a little bit more, but it was still awesome to see what he got. Secondly, I really like Paul Rudd as the second go around as the Ant-Man. I think he really has grabbed a hold of this role and made it his own. And Hope Van Dyne, she gets some of the cooler action sequences in this movie. I can't think of the actress's name right now. Angeline Lilly, I think that's her name. Sorry if I butchered it. She gets some of the best action sequences in the movie, and I really like some of the strength she brought, but also vulnerability as well, and I think that worked really well in all together. This movie is not action-packed, which is a funny thing to say from an MCU movie, but I think it really focuses on characters and building the story first and foremost, but that's not to say that there isn't some cool action sequences. When we first get our glimpse at the Wasp in action, the way they use sizing and her flying ability really works really well, and they did some really cool things. And the final action sequences is essentially, well, I'd rather not say that in case some people might consider a spoiler, but it is seen in some of the trailers. I really like the way they use the getting small, getting bigger, all that sort of stuff with the size shifting really worked for me as well. Although I enjoy this film very much, it's far from perfect, and once again we fall into the common MCU trope of a bad villain. And it mainly has to do with the backstory. I know they're trying to get at the heartstrings a little bit, but it really doesn't get there, and I think it falls short. Other than that, I don't think I have much complaint about this movie. I really like the sizing and upsizing, the scaling I should say, in the action sequences. I really like a lot of the comedy. It really works for me. It's an extremely fun summer blockbuster popcorn movie. And again, I gotta mention Michael Peña as Luis. He was hilarious and he really stole the show. And walking out of the movie theater, I thought about his scenes the most. This movie is far from perfect, but very enjoyable all the same. It's the third installment from the MCU this year, and in my opinion, the perfect movie to follow up Infinity War, especially how that movie ended. This one's light, it's funny, it's a ton of fun, and if you're thinking about it, I suggest that you go and check this one out. That's going to conclude our spoiler-free review of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Maybe in the next couple of days, we're going to drop a spoiler-filled review, so be on the lookout for that. And next week, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson returns to the summer blockbuster cinema with Skyscraper. We will be doing a spoiler-free review. It may be on location, it may be back here. We don't know yet, but as soon as we do, you will also. So thank you for joining me today. This is GB saying goodbye.